Hi friends, in our last session we have completed with introduction of a chapter head engine and Carnot cycle. Now in today's session we are going to start with our next cycle, that is Rankine cycle. We are going to understand basically pressure versus volume diagram and temperature versus entropy diagram. So this is Faizan Kagbi and I welcome you all to our lecture series of basic mechanical engineering. So let's begin with our topic. Now, Rankine cycle was basically developed by a French engineer, Rankine, for basically given a concept for external combustion engine. Yes, that is an engine which is used for generating electricity. Okay, power generation plant. Okay, now the components which are involved in Rankine cycle are boiler, turbine, condenser and pump. Now let us see one by one functions of all this device. So the function of boiler is to convert water into steam. Again, it is not going to do it by itself. We need to supply heat energy. So we are actually giving fuel, that is coal, to a boiler. So the hot gases generated from a coal is provided to a water, that is basically heat energy supplied to a water to gradually convert it into a steam. Okay, so from a boiler we can obtain steam. Three types of steam are there, that is wet steam, dry steam and superheated steam. Wet steam is the one in which there is a moisture content present. Dry steam is the one in which there is no moisture content, and superheated steam is the one in which the temperature of a steam is above dry steam. Okay, so according to the requirement, steam is generated in a boiler. Then after, the next component is turbine. The function of turbine is to generate mechanical power. It is basically working on a continuity equation. Okay, so basically kinetic energy and potential energy of a fluid is converted into a rotational motion of a turbine blades, which is going to generate mechanical power, and that mechanical power is further supplied to an electric generator to generate electricity. So let's say that WT is a work output which is obtained from a turbine. That is our mechanical power. Next is a condenser. So as the name itself suggests, that condenser means it is going to condense something, right? So basically it is going to condense steam, that is converting steam into liquid by rejecting its heat energy to the surrounding atmosphere. So let's say that QR amount of heat is rejected by a condenser from a steam to the surrounding atmosphere. And pump. Now pump is a pressure increasing device. We know the basic function of pump. It is used for conveying liquid from one place to another, for extracting liquid from one place and circulating it, right? So the main function of pump is to increase the pressure energy of a liquid. As we know that boiler is going to operate at a much higher pressure, but when a steam leaves the turbine, its pressure reduces. Now in order to supply that steam again, that is that water again into a boiler, it is required to increase its pressure. Otherwise, a backflow of water can take place from a boiler back into a condenser, right? So the function of pump is to increase the pressure and supply that water to a boiler. Okay, so for doing that, pump is a power absorbing device. So we need to give mechanical power to a pump. So let's say that WP is a work input to a pump. Okay, and QS is representing that heat is supplied in a boiler. Okay, that is by combustion of coal, heat energy is generated, which is utilized to convert water into steam. So I hope that you are clear with all the components. So QS is a heat supplied to a boiler, WT is a work output obtained from a turbine, QR is a heat rejected from a condenser, and WP is a work input to a pump. Okay guys, so in this flow diagram, remember the numbering which I have done. So inlet to a pump is number 1, outlet of a pump is number 2, then number 2 going into boiler. Okay, so exit of a boiler is number 3 and exit of a turbine is number 4. Okay, so remember this sequence. 1 is an inlet to a pump, 2 is an inlet to a boiler, 3 is an inlet to a turbine and 4 is an inlet to a condenser. So based on this, we are going to plot our pressure versus volume diagram and temperature versus entropy diagram. So I am going to start with our first component, that is pump, inlet to a pump. So we know that inlet to a pump is number 1. Now when water enters into a pump, we know that a function of pump is to increase its pressure energy, but a quantity of water or a discharge or a volume which is flowing into a pump is going to remain constant. So that is represented by a straight vertical line. See carefully pressure versus volume diagram. In that I have shown point 1 to point 2 represented by a straight vertical line representing that constant volume, but pressure is going to increase. Okay. Then after, point number 2 enters into a boiler, which means a high pressure water enters into a boiler. Now boiler is going to operate at a constant pressure. Okay, remember this. But what is happening inside a boiler? So we would say that heat energy is supplied to water. Gradually water is going to convert into a steam. Now when heat energy is supplied, what will be the effect on a density of water? So we would say that intermolecular distance is going to increase, so the density of water is going to reduce. If density is going to reduce, so we know the formula that density is equal to mass upon volume, which means density and volume are inversely proportional, which means if density reduces, then volume is going to increase. Okay, so in a boiler, volume of water is going to increase. Okay, along with that, pressure is going to remain constant. So that is represented by a straight horizontal line from state 2 to state 3. Okay, so first it is cutting a curve, that is a line which is a line of a saturated liquid line. At that point we are going to obtain a saturated liquid, and cutting another curve, that is our line of a saturated vapor. At that point we are going to obtain a dry steam, and finally we are reaching a point number 3. At that point we are going to obtain a superheated steam. Okay, now that superheated steam at point 3 is going to enter into a turbine. Okay, now after entering into a turbine, what is happening? So we know in a turbine power is generated, that is rotational motion is obtained. Now turbine has a condition. It is required that there should be no heat transfer between a system and a surrounding, that is between a turbine and a surrounding, which means it is considered to be an adiabatic process, right? And in a turbine, expansion of a steam is going to take place. So we know that adiabatic expansion is represented by a hyperbolic curve, right? So it is shown by this hyperbolic line from state 3 to state 4, representing that volume is going to increase, but pressure at an exit of a turbine is going to reduce. So point number 4 is shown over here, where it is within a curve of a saturated vapor line, representing that at point number 4 we have obtained a wet steam. Okay, now it is required to condense that steam. For condensing a steam, it is required to be passed into a condenser. Now we know the function of condenser. It's going to convert steam into water by rejecting its heat energy to the surrounding atmosphere. So point number 4 enters into a condenser, and at an exit of a condenser we are going to obtain hot water. Okay, so point number 4 to 3 is represented by a straight horizontal line, but in a condenser what is happening? So heat is rejected, which means density of water is going to increase. If density is increasing, then volume is going to reduce. And finally we have arrived at our point number 1 from which we have started. So this is how PV diagram is going to be drawn. Similarly, plotting a temperature versus entropy diagram. Now entropy, we are going to use our third law of thermodynamics. Remember that Q is equal to T delta S. Okay, so starting again from our point number 1, that is an inlet to a pump. Now what is going to be an effect on an entropy? So we are going to say that entropy, there will be no heat transfer from a system to a surrounding in a pump. Okay, remember there are two components, that is one is a pump and second is a turbine, in which there will be no heat transfer, which means that from state 1 to state 2, that is a pump process, there will be no heat transfer. If there is no heat transfer, then according to Q is equal to T delta S, 0 is equal to T delta S, which means delta S is equal to 0, indicating change in entropy during this process will be 0. Okay, so it is shown by this vertical line, straight line, that is from state 1 to state 2. But in a pump, due to stirring effect, slightly the temperature of water is going to increase. So we are representing increment in a temperature at a constant entropy from 1 to 2. Now finally it is entering into a boiler. In a boiler, what is going to happen? So in a boiler, heat energy will be supplied. So what is going to happen? So we would say randomness is going to increase. Intermolecular distance is going to increase, which means entropy is going to increase. Along with that, heating is done. Heating is done, which means temperature is also going to increase. So it is shown that from state 2, it is going to increase the temperature as well as the entropy, and it is cutting our saturated liquid line, indicating that we have achieved our saturated liquid at its boiling temperature. From this point, now when a further heat energy is supplied, we would say that a phase change of water will take place at constant temperature. That is basically a latent heat is supplied to water. Okay, so at that moment of time, entomology distance is going to increase, which means entropy will increase, but temperature is going to remain constant since we are supplying a latent heat. So it is shown by a horizontal line, finally reaching to a curve, that is of a curve of saturated vapor line, where we have obtained our dry steam. And now further, when heat energy is supplied, we would say again its temperature is going to increase, along with that entropy is also going to increase, and finally we are going to achieve our state 3, that is point number 3. So 2 to 3 is our entire boiler process, remember that in a TS diagram. Okay, now from state 3, the water is entering, the steam is entering into a turbine. Now in a turbine, what is happening? So we would say mechanical power is generated. So after expansion, we would say that at an exit, as we can see, pressure has been reduced. Now if pressure is reduced, then definitely boiling temperature is also going to reduce. Okay, with increment in a pressure, boiling temperature increases. So with decrement in a pressure, boiling temperature will also decrease. So from 3 to 4 representing a decrement in a temperature, but we know that insulation is provided at an outer surface of a turbine, which means there is no heat transfer. So Q is 0. Now using our third law of thermodynamics, so Q is equal to T delta S. From that we can say that 0 is equal to T delta S. So delta S, that is change in entropy, will be 0 for our turbine process, that is from state 3 to state 4, represented by a straight vertical line, that is constant entropy, whereas decrement in a temperature. And finally we have achieved our state point number 4. Okay, now from point number 4 we have obtained a waste stream. Now that steam is going to enter into a condenser to convert it into water, right? So condenser is going to convert it into a water, but while doing so we know that its density is going to increase, which means randomness is going to reduce. So we can say that entropy is going to reduce, but since it is going to reject only a latent heat, so the temperature is going to remain constant. And finally we are going to achieve point number 1 from which we have started, that is our inlet of a pump. Okay, so I hope that you are clear with our pressure versus volume diagram and TS diagram. Now let's derive efficiency for this cycle. So as you can see that heat supplied in a boiler is Qs, which is denoted by Qs, which is equal to H3 minus H2. So we can say that at an exit of a boiler the point number is 3, and at an inlet of a boiler the point number is 2. So at which point enthalpy will be higher? So we would say at point number 3 enthalpy will be higher, that is of a superheated steam, right? So H3 minus H2. Now work is developed by turbine, how much? So we would say WT, right? So we need to determine in terms of enthalpy. Now see carefully the process from state 3 to state 4, that is our turbine process. So at point number 4, at an exit of a turbine, enthalpy will be definitely lower, whereas at an inlet of a turbine, enthalpy is higher because the steam is a superheated steam. So we are going to take a higher value of enthalpy. Okay, so WT is equal to H3 minus H4. I have written that. Okay, now heat rejected in a condenser is QR, as you can see on your screen. So QR is equal to H4 minus H1. So see the condenser process. It is from state 4 to state 1. But at which state higher enthalpy will be there? So we would say at point number 4, right? And at point number 1, since it is a condensation process, heat is rejected, so enthalpy will be lower at point number 1. So H4 minus H1. And work supplied to a turbine. So work supplied to a pump. So how much is the work supplied? So we would say WP. Okay, so for this, see a process from state 1 to state 2. Now in this process, at which point we would say higher enthalpy will be obtained? So at point number 2. Why? Because pump is going to provide a steering effect, that is a centrifugal pump will be used. So because of a steering effect, temperature is going to increase, and since we know that as the temperature increases, its enthalpy is going to increase. Okay, so at state 2 enthalpy will be higher, so I have written WP is equal to H2 minus H1. Okay, but our main target is to determine efficiency, which is equal to output upon input. Right, so we have to determine a net work output. So how much is the net work output? So it is equal to WT, that is a mechanical power from a turbine, minus mechanical input to a pump. So WT minus WP upon what is an input? So we would say heat supplied to a boiler, that is QS. But in usual cases, we usually neglect the work input to a pump, since the value is very small compared to a turbine work output. So we are directly going to write an efficiency formula, that is eta is equal to Wt upon Qs, and in terms of enthalpy we can write it is equal to H3 minus H4 upon H3 minus H2. So this is the final equation to determine efficiency for Rankine cycle. Okay friends, so I hope that you are clear with this topic of Rankine cycle. So in today's session we are keeping up till here. In our next session we will start with our new cycle, that is Otto cycle. Till then, stay tuned and thank you all.